Hello and welcome to the Hello World Unidirectional Transmitter and Receiver code example for LISNR Radius Desktop 3.0. Today we will be looking at creating two apps. First, the Hello World Beacon application, and second, the Receive application. So, let's get started. For the Hello World Beacon application, I'm going to be following the setup instructions for the Radius sample application by clicking on this link. Here I can find the instructions on how to set up the Radius sample application, which I will be modifying to create the Hello World Beacon application. Our first thing to do for setup is to go to the LISNR portal, where I will be downloading the Radius sample application. Unzip the downloaded project file. If we have a little skim through this folder, you'll see that there is a Radius README for further instructions on how to rebuild or run the different samples, and different pre-compiled programs in this samples folder. For this code example, I want to modify RadiusBeaconSample.cpp file, so I'm going to click on it, and this is going to open Visual Studio, but feel free to use any IDE of your choice. Now that this file has loaded, we're going to be heading back into the docs and copying over the code from step 3. And replacing it with what's currently in the file, just like this. Now the last thing we have to do before we're able to build and run this app is to replace this SDK token placeholder. To create an SDK token on the LISNR portal, I'm going to go to SDK tokens under App Management for the app of my choice. As this is for a desktop SDK, these fields can be left blank. And now we have an SDK token. Let's copy this over to our project. Our Hello World Beacon app code configuration is now ready. From a terminal, I will be using command prompt, navigate to the sample folder and run the following command that you can find in step 4. This will generate a build folder. Let's wait and let it build. Our Hello World Beacon application has now been built. Let's run the command from step 5 in the docs. Nice one! You can see our app successfully transmitting the payload Hello World. To get it to stop beaconing, Ctrl+C. Now let's focus on the receiving application. Follow the setup instructions for the Radius sample application just as we did near the start of this video. Once you've done that, we're going to copy over this command from step 2 into our terminal. You can find out more about the parameters in this command in the Radius README file, as you can see opened up on the screen. We're going to replace the SDK token placeholder with the exact same SDK token we used earlier in the Beacon application. Once I click enter, I can see the SDK token expiration date and also the receiving profile and channel used. Now let's see our receiver application actually receiving. In order to receive tones, we will need to have tones being transmitted. Feel free to either use the Hello World app that we've just created earlier in this video, or use the Radius sample application on a mobile device. Let's test this out. So I'm broadcasting tones now, and as you can see, this application is receiving. To stop the receiving command, click on Ctrl+C. This will stop the code execution. Way to go! You have just completed the Hello World Unidirectional Transmitter and Receiver code example for LISNR Radius Desktop SDK 3.0. Thanks for watching!